LinkedIn Live. I can't tell you how excited I am to have Dr. Marilyn A. Scott with me today. We've been cohorts and colleagues on LinkedIn for over 3 years. Marilyn's just a wealth of LinkedIn information, and also is just great at helping people coming up and supporting them, and is a great collaborator who always gives more than she asks. So with that said, hi Marilyn. Today's topic is LinkedIn 2023 and strategies going forward. Why don't you say hello to everyone?
Thanks for having me, Don. I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to the new year, 2023.
Yeah, well, we sure had a lot of situations in 2022 to get us prepared for 2023.
We sure did.
And I know where we started 3 years ago and where we are, and it's like night and day. And it seems like LinkedIn just continues to build momentum and traction based on knowledge and experience. On what we were talking about actually before we got on the air was LinkedIn background, virtual background. So everybody who's looking at us, we're using a Restream background. We're not living in the same house, but we're sharing the same backgrounds. And then we found another way of highlighting the background with a background to the background and a logo up there. So, that's one good thing about working together is when someone learns, everybody benefits.
Right. I want to say hi to my friend Laurel Herman. She's in Richmond and she says, "Hey, Marilyn, thanks for showing up, Laurel. I appreciate it."
Well, you bet. And it's always great. And Laurel, thanks for commenting. And more importantly, taking the initiative to interact. Love to be able to share and promote your profile to everybody out there. And if you're listening, look at Laurel's profile. If it aligns with you, make a connection. This is a great opportunity on LinkedIn Live to meet and greet new people. And if they're Marilyn's friends or my friends, they're typically pretty good people as a general rule.
They are.
So thank you, Laurel, and I invite everybody else out there. If you have an interest in being recognized and promoted on the show, and if you got a question, an insight, or if you just want to share your name and where you're from, that's good enough for everyone. So thank you. And Marilyn, I know you're always such a great advocate for people on LinkedIn, and you're always supporting their posts. And those strategies are timeless and are evergreen, will never go out of fashion. And I think what we're doing in 2023 is not only blending more technology, but also more high touch, more old school relationship building, trust building. And, in your experience on LinkedIn, which has been extensive, what do you find going into 2023 as the key areas that you're going to focus on?
One thing I really want to focus on is, and you've promoted this numerous times, is getting offline with people to get to know them. And I'm on a writing sabbatical right now, but there are times when I do take time to Zoom with somebody who might be compatible to what I'm doing. And I am in the healthcare field. So anybody who's positive, who wants to spread positivity, I would love to talk to you. That's what I do. Such a negative world that, we all need to be positive. We all need to find something to be positive. And I see that you just changed your background.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it just shows you how easy things can be done once you know how to do it.
It's just a point and click,
Yeah, once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You never forget it.
That's right.
And you can do things on the fly. Actually, even like sharing the screen took time. And I think what that really says is practice makes perfect.
You have to do it. Anything on the computer, people can tell you about it. They can say, "Oh, do this or do that." But unless you do it, and if you don't do it, you're not going to get it. You have to do it. You have to point and click. That's the way I feel about it. And I have found that through experience. Reading a book, you can get a lot of information, but unless you apply it, until you apply it, what's the sense? You've got to apply it to get the experience. And I think, and Don has showed me a lot on how to maneuver through LinkedIn Live. And I appreciate your time and your expertise because you've been doing it a lot.
Yeah, but it's people like you to make it worthwhile while you're trying to figure out how to monetize it. And, everybody should have an attitude of learning before you figure on earning, right? And failing your way to the top, because until you do it and it doesn't work, does it promote or make you want to do it so it does work? And then you feel like you've accomplished something. You've added something to your arsenal every day, whether it was a new background, whether it was a new approach. And, everything is somewhat nuanced on LinkedIn. And the deeper you go into it, the richer it becomes.
Right.
Right. But you need someone or someone's to work through what LinkedIn is for everybody, because until you're with someone else, do you get the proper context and perspective to say, how long is this? If people think it's overnight, you're better off not getting started. If it's like waiting for someone to do something for you instead of going out there and showing yourself, and proving yourself. And I think authenticity and being honest and transparent wins the day.
Well, the other thing I still love to do when I post, I love to tag. I am a big tagger, and you and I have been tagging for years, on our posts. But even on a LinkedIn Live, I like to tag in the comments because I want people to be included. I want to include people. So if you're out there, out in LinkedIn land, and you're struggling, and your posts are what I call, if you don't tag, and you're new to LinkedIn, your post is going to, in my opinion, stay in LinkedIn la la land. Nobody's going to see it. So when you post, if you tag as many people, you can tag up to 200 people. But if you tag some people, those people are going to see your post. And 9 chances out of 10, they will react and they will comment. And that's how you get a reach. I feel that's how you really get a reach.
No, that's perfect. And I hope everybody's taking notes out there, because if you do tagging right, it's respected and appreciated.
Right.
If you don't know the people and they don't know you, you're taking a big gamble.
Right.
Because they can report you, they can block you, and all of a sudden you're going to be perceived as something hopefully that you're not. And in most cases, people, again, just like what we were talking about, who don't know what it is to do it, would be better off getting some advice from someone who's doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Look around LinkedIn, see who the biggest, best taggers are. I mean, if you look at my post today, I've tagged 140 people. Now, I'm not saying people should do 140. It took me a year and a half to get to that point. But you can start with 5 or 10. You can start with the people you care about most and work with the most on LinkedIn. And you know what? They can tag you.
Exactly. And the other thing is, when you tag them and they respond, the people in their network will set. And that's the important thing about that, because that's how you will spread your word out to other people that you may not know, and they might want to send you an invite. The other thing we should talk about, Don, are invites. Be careful who you accept.
Great point. Yeah, what I found, and only finding it out after the fact, because, when you enter LinkedIn, they don't give you a map. They don't give you a rule book. They don't tell you nothing. You're just like thrown in the water and say swim, right? And in the beginning, you think numbers are important. So you start going for quantity. How many connections, how much this, how much that. And where people miss the point is relevancy has to come first and then connections. right? If they're, my qualifier is if I won't have a LinkedIn Zoom call right after I connect, I'm not going to connect.
Exactly.
Because if I never want to talk to the person, why am I going to get into a self-limiting relationship? And what's worse, they don't know I'm never going to talk with them. So now they've got a misassumption. And the thing too is everybody's going to figure you out in time. Why not be the first to show who you really are? And that way, if you want to scare the wrong people away, that's a good way. And if you want to attract the right people, that's a good way. But at least everybody can come in saying, hey, I didn't mislead. There's so many people who are showing pictures of their jet behind them and their Paris vacation. It's as legit as my brick wall behind me, So, and the other thing I found that I received through a lot of comments and insights was that people want you to be conversational with them. They don't want you to be on a podium talking down to them, telling them what they need to do. What they want to know is, what are you doing, and what are you doing that they could do for themselves with?
Exactly.
Right? So you put it out there. It's like a buffet. They take what they like and what they enjoy. They leave the rest. And it's not one's position to judge unless one wants to be judged. And that's a poor way of starting a good relationship. So it's really, I think Marilyn and me have an advantage because we're more or less old school. I found out that 80% of the people on LinkedIn are between 18 and 34.
Yeah, we're seasoned. Don and I are seasoned.
Kids are older than 34. So I'm a third, I'm 2 generations removed, but actually in a way, and it's kind of cute the way I put it, is I'm only 3 years old on LinkedIn though. So whatever my chronological age is, I've been here 3 years. How long have you been here? And what have you done in 3 years? And in this day and age of remote learning and teaching, it's really what you bring to the table every day.
Right.
Yesterday brings nothing except experience into today. And hopefully 2023, the things you learn this year, you can apply next year and roll it into the next year. And, people love people who are busy, and busy people attract people who want to be busy too. And that's another key point, is the first thing I look at now that I didn't before is activity. Before I used to look at connections and who they are and what they did. If someone's not active for themselves, they're not going to be active for me. And what do I want to get active with them? So if you're not on the, right?
That's a great point. Yes.
Right? And fresh is better than stale. So going back a year or two ago and saying, let me reach out to people who didn't do anything with me, didn't want to work with me. 2 years later, nothing's changed except everybody has been talking to them in between, where today, anybody like Laurel, they're here. They're interested. They're involved. Now's the time to reach out and say, let's connect. Because the nice thing about LinkedIn Live gives everybody a chance to get to know you before they have to get to know you. Right? They can watch you, they can listen to you, they can see things, and then they can say, let's have a connection or let's have a call. And it gives you a chance to pre-qualify yourself to people. Because after a while, if you look at what me and Marilyn do and what we say, it gets real easy to get real comfortable with it. We're not putting on airs. We're not big shots in any way and don't want to be. And like I tell a lot of people, I'm in a stage of my life where I'm not going to be building any more big businesses, but I can help them build their own big businesses, right? And give them the knowledge, experience. And more importantly, I think what me and Marilyn have learned over the years is most people, whatever they ask for, they really want empathetic support. They really want to know they're okay. It's going to be okay. And if you can't do it, maybe we can do it together is the thought that one can share. And, the thing is, I believe everybody should trust themselves to trust themselves. to take a look, to put their toe in the water, because you can always go back to yesterday's strategy. So it's very dynamic, the stuff me and Marilyn are focused on, and can be very expansive for people who want to join forces with us.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and I'm going to promote your thing on Wednesday at noontime, Eastern Daylight Time. Don has this great LinkedIn meeting every Wednesday at, well, I live on the East Coast, so it's 12 o'clock my time. He lives in Mountain Time, so it's 10 o'clock his time. But wherever you live in the world, on Wednesdays, come to this meeting. It is awesome. It's informative. We talk just about LinkedIn, how to excel on LinkedIn. If you're having an issue on LinkedIn, if you're having an issue with something else. I was talking to him about Restream, and he was so helpful. We are there to help you out. We are there to keep you motivated. Don't give up. Don't give up. We've had people that want to give up, and I'd say, why do you want to give up? You put the best post out ever. You put the best video out ever. No, you don't give up. We've had people in the group who have gotten jobs from the information that we've given them, and they've applied it. Right, Don? They've totally applied it. And it's been a great experience.
It sure has. And to Marilyn's point, we're always looking to expand our reach and our support. And if anybody out there wants to, either message me or message Marilyn, and we'll give you an invite to the next collaboration meeting, and you can check it out for yourself. You know what's so great about it? It's at least an hour every week of knowledge that we're learning on the ground. It's not things we're thinking about, it's things we're experiencing and sharing. And it's like us going to the gym and everybody else getting the muscles, right? So we're doing the heavy lifting and sharing, and you can never have enough help. You know, here we have Sudip
from India. Hello.
From India. Looks like we're worldwide.
Yep, we just went global.
Yeah, so thank you, Sudip, and feel free to add any questions or thoughts you might have and share it with others. So appreciate it. And it just shows you that little things done right can really amplify itself. And I think with the tagging strategy, and you know, with the limited time we have, and that's why the Wednesday collaboration group is so good, is we've got insight into polling strategies, into LinkedIn Live, into posting, into tagging, into connecting. I mean, every aspect of LinkedIn we have fully immersed ourselves in, and come back with a comprehensive approach where you can actually distinguish and differentiate yourself from the 830 million people in the crowd by doing things better than everybody else, showing up, being the best you can be, being the best friend you can be, because while people are waiting, you could be out there making things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Plus, the other thing is you should have control over who you work with. You shouldn't be in the marketplace that someone says, I got money, I want your time. It should be, no, you know, the only time I'll do something with somebody if they'll make my situation better for being with them, right? If someone's going to take more and give less and not be a positive individual, because that's part of the community you're building. Everybody you bring in with everybody that's there. Who do you want people to get to know and meet? And that's why being selective in the beginning is so important, because everything you do or get on LinkedIn, you have to take responsibility for. Because you had the opportunity to say yes or no, you could block, you can get rid of connections, you could do whatever you want. And the question is, how much are you doing and how well are you doing it? And how often are you doing it? And I
think people have to start looking at how healthy their connections and their network is. I really think that's what I'm going to do I'm going to do that in 2023. Look at how healthy my connections are. I might unfollow people. I might block people. The thing, when somebody you connect with that you accept, and then all of a sudden they say, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I don't know if they're desperate or what, but I don't have time for people like that. And I'm not going to work with them because they're pushy. And I have a real big issue with pushy people. So if you want to connect with somebody, or if you want to connect with me or Don, don't be pushy. Bottom line.
Good point. Very excellent point, because how you start never gets better. Right? First impression is not the same as second impression. Plus, the thing too is what gets you excited and motivated gets people like you excited and motivated. So if someone's doing something to you that's turning you off, making you feel bad, you want to get them out. It's like the bad apple, right? You don't want it to start affecting the other apples in the bunch. And you know what? There's power to taking action.
Oh, there is, yes.
Right? So you feel better once you get rid of an issue, once you deal with an issue. And hopefully now you can focus on creating opportunities with people that already shown themselves to be good people to be with. And actually, I think to Marilyn's point, if you looked at my 37,000 connections, 140 got tagged, and that was it. I got room for 20, 30 more. And I just decided right now, if you were to say you only got 140 connections and you got to give up everybody else, I'd be happy with the 140 I'm working with, because those are the people that are relevant today and I can work with today. I can tell you, I got people in my network, and so does Marilyn, have millions of followers.
They do.
Right? But that doesn't mean they're going to help me and those followers are aligned with me. And actually, it's almost, I wouldn't say a curse, but 1 million followers is going to create a ton of work for you.
And the other thing is, how many of those people do you know?
Yeah. You know? And how many do you ever want to know?
Exactly. I have over 18,000, 18.5. I don't know all of them. And I might know really well, like Don, 140, 150 of them. I don't know the rest of them. So if you really want to connect with me and have a conversation, send me a message if you're connected with me, or if you just want to be connected in my network. I'll welcome people into my network.
Yeah, no, I think more is merrier. Again, once you decide, hey, this is a person, you know, and I found out, excuse me, that once I saw their activity and what they were posting, that a lot of them were like, I don't want to be with this person.
Right.
You know, and then a lot of people say, wow, that's pretty cool. I can learn from this person. And I think that's what the criteria should be, is can that person make you better for being around them? And can you learn something that makes it worth being with them? And that should be your only criteria, because most people are like, how can I make money off of somebody? Instead of how do I make money with or for somebody? And, you know, like Marilyn says, if you get too salesy and too pushy, you defeat the whole purpose.
Right. I don't deal with salesy, pushy. I won't. I absolutely will not. And it's something that I'm going to start looking at a lot of my connections in 2023 seriously, to see if I really want to be connected with them. That's, you know, I have a lot of connections. I don't have as many as Don, but we both have an enormous amount of connections. Between the two of us, we have probably almost 60,000 connections between the two of us. Something like that, 50,000, something like that.
No, it's significant. Here's another interesting point that most people may not realize, is as many as connections as we have and as aligned as me and Marilyn are, there's very little overlap.
Right.
You know, usually about 15 to 20% of the people are in both. So anytime you connect with someone else who has a decent network, you have the ability to expand your reach for people that would never know you. And right now we're streaming this on both of our LinkedIn's at the same time, which now Marilyn's audience is seeing me. My audience is seeing Marilyn. What I may do as part of the, and this is actually the time frame for our collaboration group, is invite more people on the collaboration so now they can get more exposure, but also they can bring exposure, right? If this was streaming to 2 more individuals, we'd have an audience that's 4 times as big as our individual one would be. Plus, everybody likes to see more on the screen. When I do my LinkedIn Lives, I'm good for 8 or 10 minutes because that's all I got. But when I'm with someone like Marilyn, and you get people who then bring questions, now it's far more interactive, more interesting, and gives us something to learn from. So we're not sitting in, with tunnel vision. So yeah, I think 2022 is better than 2021 in growth and in learning. Things that we didn't know, we know now. And once you see the light, it's hard to go back to the dark. And I think we're instrumental, and we've proven that, like Marilyn said, in graduating people, in seeing people reach their ambition, that they even give us credit for being supportive in that approach. And I think we're going to take the best of what we learned and who we are and then roll it into 2023. And it'd be fun a year from now to have another show like this and say, here's where we were, what did we accomplish, and here's the people that were success stories, because success breeds success.
It does.
So what's your thoughts in conclusion, Marilyn, on 2023 and looking forward to the future?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the future. One of the things I want to say to everybody out there in LinkedIn land, don't edify somebody else at your expense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever do that. When you're doing that, they're going to get all the edification. You're getting nothing. So think about who you are spending time with. Think about who you are talking about, and make sure that you're tagging. If you haven't tagged and you say, what's wrong with my post that's just sitting there? I have had no reactions, no comments. You got to get out there and tag. Bottom line.
Yeah. No, and you're right. And we really have taken it to the highest level I've seen on LinkedIn. So, we're good. And I'm not saying that to pat ourselves on the back, but if you're out there and confused and have issues and you're plateaued, reach out to us.
Right.
Be a guest on our collaboration group. Reach out if you want to be a LinkedIn Live co-host with Marilyn or me, or both of us. We've got a door that's wide open, and we're trying to get as many people who we can help inside the tent and really duplicate through them, because the hard lessons we've learned are somewhat justified when you can share the benefit with others without them having to go through the pain and trouble that you did.
Well, Don and I, for the last over 3 years, have definitely been through the LinkedIn trenches. Haven't we?
More than once.
Yes, definitely.
But after a while, you learn the lay of the land, you understand, and I think if people take responsibility and, more importantly, accountability, and are the first to be gracious, right, and promote, respect, share. Those are compliments you're giving to people, and hopefully they're kind of people who understand it, have really good common sense, and are just, there's a lot, as many crummy people on LinkedIn as there are. They're the ones who always stand out in your mind, not the 100 each day who are supporting you or building you up. And don't let those dream stealers get to you. To me, they're just unnecessary distractions. Anytime you invest in that is time could have been better spent investing in yourself for people like you. and be protective. Protect your reputation and your LinkedIn status like you would protect anything in your life that's valuable. And like anything you protect, it'll take care of you. So, yeah. So with that said, we want to sign off, but thank everybody. Feel free to share this with anybody, comment, reach out. And with that said, me and Marilyn will talk to you again. Like I mentioned before, if you want an invite to our collab group, let's reach out to you. We'll make sure you get one for next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern. And Marilyn, I love your new background.
Oh yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, it's high society, that's for sure. So, anyways, thank you again, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Take